What's your name?
Ang Webb or Ang Hart.
Ang Hart, that I know you from Facebook.
Yeah.
And what do you do, Ange?
Many things. So I'm an artist under the name Ang Hart. I'm an artist, a visual artist. I do a lot of abstract paintings and sculpture, which I love. And then my psychologist name, because I'm a registered psychologist, is Angela Webb.
Okay.
So yeah, I've got my own psychology business. I've got offices in Parks, Carra, Walker and Young. And I've got a team of beautiful mental health clinicians, and predominantly we are trauma focused, and we do EMDR, which is a type of psychotherapy.
How long have you been in Boorowa?
We moved here in July 2017. I have a super big belly because I was pregnant with our first son, Austin. He's 7 now. And yeah, we've got a little place just on the edge of town. I tell people it's halfway between the tip and the cemetery, but it's a beautiful spot. And yeah, we're on just over 100 acres, a little mini farm.
And who's we?
Myself, my husband, and our 2 kiddos.
Okay.
And a couple of dogs.
Yeah, I was about to say the animals. Yeah. You're on land, you've got some animals.
Yes.
So, you're wearing the This Is My Brave t-shirt.
I am.
How did you come to be wearing the This Is My Brave t-shirt?
I came into possession of it this morning. Thank you, Tim, for giving it to me.
Sorry.
So I'm helping out with the This Is My Brave project here in Boorowa. Lynn Diskin, who is a Rotary guru, decided to bring the This Is My Brave program to Boorowa, and they were looking for someone who was mental health trained in the local community. And she asked me if I'd be interested to help out, and I said, happy days.
So why were you interested in helping out? Why do you think that This Is My Brave, the concept and the program that we run is important?
Oh, Tim, it's a fabulous program. I've done a lot of research and had a look on your website and had a look on your socials, and I just think the ability for people in a local community to stand up in front of others and tell their unique stories about their mental health journey and their triumphs over mental health is just stigma breaking within that community. And I think our small community needs that right now.
Yeah, it seems to be really important in the smaller communities. So it's interesting because you'd think in the smaller community that everyone's really close. But it's different, isn't it?
Absolutely. And sometimes people they look like they're well set up and they've got some really great connections, but they might still feel isolated.
Yeah.
Or not able to, like, they might have a facade and they're like, oh yeah, everything's great, everything's fine and dandy, sunshine, lollipops and rainbows, but underneath they're too scared to let people know that they might be struggling. And
obviously that's where This Is My Brave event comes in, because we get people to share their stories to the community. And what we find really important is that we use people from the local community to tell those stories. Why do you think that's important as well?
Oh, well, it's a grounds up, community development initiative, I suppose. You're not bringing someone in, fly out, FIFO or Dido, drive in, drive out, that says, okay, this is what we're going to do, and, we're going to run it for you. Whereas this is more a grounds up approach, getting those people from the local community to tell their story back to their community, and then they become advocates and mentors, I suppose, for other people who might be hesitant to reach out or don't know how to reach out and say, oh gosh, I saw that guy stand up in front of 100 people and tell his story. How vulnerable. But I'm actually going to go and have a yarn to him and just work out how he got help or how he got through.
And we've already heard a couple of stories yesterday. That was pretty amazing, wasn't it? So.
Absolutely. There was 2 stories that brought me to tears.
Yeah.
Like there was one person who performed a soliloquy, and it was just so well thought out, so fabulous. And it didn't actually go through all of their mental health struggles or a diagnosis or anything like that, but they talked about how this thing kind of followed them around like a bad smell, and how it became so big and overpowering at times. And then this person learned how to kind of shrink it and deal with it. And it was always going to be there, but he had control over it rather than his diagnosis having a control over him. Which was magic.
Yeah, it was. It was great, actually. And because we're sitting right in the middle of the farming community, we also heard a story from a farmer, didn't we?
Absolutely, yeah. So someone who, had to make a really, really hard decision around farming, but made the right decision because he's still here with us now.
Yeah.
If he hadn't have made that decision, very possibly he could not be with us now. It's
been pretty amazing. So it's a process that we go through about
Mhm.
integrating into the community and trying to get people to have some more awareness around mental health. What do you see as a good way of getting people aware
Mhm.
about mental health and it not being a stigma, but something that we can freely talk about?
And I think celebrate as well. Like with every mental health journey, there's some sort of triumph over that mental health, and sharing those stories within the community it's vulnerable. Like I take my hat off to all those people who are sharing their stories and who have been, doing the auditions and who are going to perform in front of their community. But I think there's a certain type of magic that people will look at someone's facade, they'll look at their face, they'll look at their mannerisms around town, they're like, geez, that person's got it together. And then they'll see them on stage and go, I had no idea that they went through that, absolute, excuse my French, shit show to get to where they are now. So I think that's the magic about it, that we don't just assume that someone looks a certain way. They might look normal, but they've had all of this going on underneath. And then I think there's that stigma of someone who's been through a mental health illness, that they look a certain way, or they walk a certain way, or they talk a certain way. And that's just not true. So breaking down that stigma, and mental illness does not discriminate. It can bite anyone in the bum.
We saw that yesterday, didn't we? So with the different people who were sharing their stories, that was amazing. So do you think that this event will have a ripple effect within the community?
Definitely, definitely. And I'm not even going to say I hope so, because I know it will. I know that people that are sharing their stories will talk about that, sharing their stories, and that'll filter through the community. Also, when we're doing the rehearsals and things like that, the people that are sharing their stories will actually, I think they'll form a bit of a group or a bit of a bond, a shared connection with that shared experience and that lived experience. But I think the catalyst is going to be people who come along and actually see the performance. And I know the way that you're trying to get the performance to roll like a theatrical kind of production. And I think for Boorowa that's going to be magic. So as many people that can come along and even bring their kids too. I think is it a Sunday afternoon in June?
In June, yes.
Yeah.
Well,
June 2025, and it'll be at the Boorowa Central School Hall.
it will be.
Yeah, so as many people that can come along to that will be amazing.
Yes. The good thing about that is that you probably know everybody who's there.
Probably.
And you'll be surprised by some of the stories. Even brought you to tears yesterday, some of the stories.
I was listening and I could just feel these big drips of water coming out of my eyes. I'm like, oh, Ange, what's going on?
And it's not that it's sad, it's just that it's so poignant, isn't it? So
just the courage and just the tenacity of these people who have been through it is just, it's magical.
Yeah, it is.
And you could feel it. You could nearly touch the power of that story in the room.
And that's what we try and get across to people, is to come along to the show, because then you're going to have a big room like that, where you can feel it in the air of people supporting, of feeling those stories, and then in a non-judgmental, wonderful way of supporting people in their community who have done it tough at times. So yeah.
Absolutely. And I think it'll bring other people forward who have been doing it tough, that didn't know that, they don't need a label and they don't need a classification, but they're like, oh my gosh, that's what I've been going through. That's what I've been thinking. And I'm not abnormal. This is actually normal.
Thanks, Ange.
Happy days.
Thanks for coming in and joining the group and wearing the T-shirts and promoting the whole thing. So
thank you for coming to Boorowa.
No, that's fine.
Doing the program with us.
Love coming to the regional community, because they need it so much. They're crying out for it. So happy to come, and everyone welcomes me with open arms, which is great. So thank you.
Thank you. Looking forward to the performance.